Long, not going to take it, that he just...
Because whatever criteria there was out the window.
Yeah.
I'm not old anymore. At first, it was 70 and above. Now it's 75, so I guess I'm not old. But whatever, I was glad to get it.
Okay, is Coughlin coming?
He's out here.
He's up there? I bet he's talking. All right. Oh, before the meeting, he gets sworn in? Okay.
Or sworn at. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Ronald Santa, you want to come on up?
Probably a cheat sheet, so that way I don't.
Oh, I got you, yeah. Oh, okay.
You have to swear yourself in.
All right. Ronald Santa, if you'll repeat after me. I, Ronald L. Sena,
I, Ronald L. Sena,
having been appointed to the office of village clerk
having been appointed to the office of village clerk
for the village of Ruidoso in the county of Lincoln,
for the village of Ruidoso,
state of New Mexico,
state of New Mexico,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the state of New Mexico,
Constitution and laws of the state of New Mexico,
and faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office
and impartially discharge the duties of the said office
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Ron. Thank you again for stepping in for us. We appreciate Ron stepping into that position while we make some few changes. Okay, are we
Good
ready to
morning.
bring this meeting to order?
Councilors, if you make sure all your microphones are green, that would be great.
Did everybody hear Ron Jeff, to check your microphone and make sure it's green? And I guess since we have the plexiglass, I don't have to have the mask on. All right, bring this meeting to order of the Village of Ruidoso. It's a notice of our workshop meeting. We'll have a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Where's the flag? Oh, it's right behind me. Okay, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mayor?
Yes.
May I say that, Linda Flack passed
Passed.
away on New Year's Day, and she was a great member of our community and a member of this council. And as we do our silence of prayer, just to have Kyle and Mark and their families and Linda in our prayers.
Okay, I agree. Thank you very much for that. Pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the zealous symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Okay, thank you, everybody. You're next door there, Counselor. Over here. Mayor Holman's. Your council has arrived, Mayor Holman. We'll have a roll call, please. Where's Bertha?
I think she's next door
I don't see her.
She's on Zoom.
on Zoom.
Yes. All right, Mayor, are you ready? I'll begin the roll call.
Oh, okay, you're doing it. I forgot.
Yes.
Man. We're moving right along. Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Mayor Crawford,
Here.
Councilor Salas,
Here.
Councilor Letterman,
Here.
Councilor Eby,
Here.
Councilor Cornelius,
Here.
Councilor Coughlin,
Here.
Councilor Jackson.
Here.
All present, Mayor. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. You sound so official, doesn't he? That's awesome, Ron. If we can have a motion to accept today's agenda, I just want to be able to be creative. We've got some guests here today, and I'd like to recognize them as soon as possible because I know they got other rat killing out there.
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept the agenda as presented and to allow the chair to move the items of agenda at his discretion.
Okay.
Second.
Second, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Jackson,
Aye.
Counselor Lutterman,
Aye.
Counselor Eby,
Aye.
Counselor Salas,
Aye.
Counselor Cornelius,
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. And I want to move item number 10 to the present item so that we have with us in the other room via computer, it's magically, whatever as my grandson calls it, we have Mayor Dean Holman and legal counsel for the City of Ruidoso Downs, the infamous John Two Gun Underwood. So good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Council and Mr. Mayor.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So the floor is yours. If you want to start some discussion, we'll be happy to listen.
Well, I'll lead off because you know us lawyers have a hard time keeping our mouths closed when maybe we should. But I very much appreciate Mayor Crawford. Thank you. I say Mayor Holman inviting us to today's meeting. We've had some preliminary discussions regarding this matter. We come to you today regarding the future of the Hubbard Museum of the American West. And just to give you a brief history, the Hubbard Museum of the American West, initially founded by the Hubbard Foundation, Dee and Joan Dale Hubbard several years ago, at the old convention center site in Ruidoso Downs, which as a kid I remember as an ice skating rink, and went ice skating there and was not very successful at that either. And saw Paul Revere and the Raiders there and the Everly Brothers there. So it's a large part of my childhood, and it's also a large part of the history of Ruidoso and Ruidoso Downs. Since it served as the Hubbard Museum of the American West, many of you may recall the art exhibitions, the worldwide art exhibitions that Mr. Hubbard hosted at the museum, drawing artists from all over the world and people from all over the world. So as time went by, the Hubbard Foundation, the director of now, which is Robert Donaldson, former mayor of the village of Ruidoso, and now erstwhile golfer, and gave as a gift the building and the museum and all the exhibits of the museum to the city of Ruidoso Downs, then known as the village of Ruidoso Downs, and along with a $1.5 million endowment to be used. And since that point in time, the city of Ruidoso Downs has been through many iterations of directors and many iterations of management. And as you know, with our current situation, and I think the Johnny Cope Learning Center is there. All of you remember our dearly departed VIP Johnny Cope, who was instrumental in this area of providing lots of stuff for our highways and funding for local events, and we will miss him greatly. Along with our affiliation with the Smithsonian Institution, which is very important. Along came COVID and along came financial difficulties with the Hubbard Museum of the American West, to the point that up until just a few weeks ago, we had 3 people employed by the city of Ruidoso Downs at the Hubbard Museum of the American West. And we've had several meetings with the Hubbard Foundation, Robert Donaldson, and the Hubbard Foundation up until this past year, beginning fiscal year 2021, has been providing to the city of Ruidoso Downs the sum of $100,000 per year to help support the Hubbard Museum of the American West. As you know, we used to have large functions there. I saw Charlie Daniels Band there one New Year's Eve at a Hubbard function. tremendous place to hold. We used to host legislative committees there. It was a wonderful gathering place and a wonderful place of pride. As you know also, Mr. Hubbard commissioned David McGarry to build the monuments of the horses outside the Hubbard Museum of the American West, which also belongs to the city of Ruidoso Downs. So it has been a focus of both tourism and business activity for our communities, Ruidoso and Ruidoso Downs, and also for Lincoln County for several years. What the city of Ruidoso Downs comes to you today to talk to you about is the fact that we feel like it's more of a community situation than simply a city of Ruidoso Downs situation financially, but not only financially, from a point of view of promoting and using to its fullest capacity the museum facility and approximately $8 million worth of exhibits in the museum. We have the Ann Stradley Foundation's exhibits, as well as all those exhibits that you see from time to time, and many of which you don't see. So we would propose a gathering, a community interest in the city of Ruidoso Downs ownership of and promotion of the Hubbard Museum of the American West, so that we could jointly own and jointly promote and jointly use the museum in the future. We have some building issues that we need to resolve. We have received confirmation that the last amount of money, thanks to Representative Cook, and thank you, Representative Cook, for helping us with this, the sum of $200,000 to help in building repairs, and those are desperately needed. But we would like to have fruitful discussions as a city with the village for us to join hands and jointly operate and jointly promote and jointly fund the future of the Hubbard Museum of the American West. It is going to be on our agenda. As you know, basically we've been closed since shortly after COVID started and the governor's public health orders, and I expect we'll remain closed until March. Hopefully we're all going to try and get back on board in March, but it may be summer. But at a point in time when we come out of mothballs, that museum, that tourist event needs to hit the ground running with lots of energy, with lots of functions, we could use it for part of your convention centers. It needs to be a community-wide situation. As you know, the Billy the Kid Visitors Museum is next to that, and I believe that is owned by the village of Ruidoso. So there is a community, an area there of community interest, and we not only need your help, but would like to have your help, because it has come to a point in time that the museum is a community-wide event center. And likewise, I think that, let me just divert for a point in time, it has been used with a great deal for the Ruidoso Downs racetrack. And in promoting our tourism in this area, which I think we all know at the end of the day is our bottom line source of revenue, the Ruidoso Downs racetrack also needs our help. As most of you know, the casinos have been closed for quite some time. And as most of you know, I think it's around 25 or 26% of the take from the casinos goes to the purses and the horse races. So it doesn't take a genius to figure out that without any purses, you don't have any horse races. And I would propose this morning, as part of our action of jointly working together for the tourism business of Lincoln County, that the village and the city join in a resolution sent to the governor to promote the reopening of those casinos, not only in Ruidoso but other places, for if the Native Americans can do it safely at the Inn of the Mountain Gods and throughout the state of New Mexico and other places, certainly the Ruidoso Downs racetrack can do that also. I don't say that to get involved in the local politics of COVID. There's several discussions about, what the governor's done right or what the governor's done wrong. I'm just glad I'm not the governor, because whatever decision you make, you're going to make 50% of the people mad. But what I would propose is that we support our Ruidoso Downs racetrack, and we support the racing industry. For my fear is that if we don't support our common interest in that major industry, tourist industry in Lincoln County, that none of us may not have a use for not only this convention center, but the museum in Ruidoso Downs. So I say that as a sidelight, but as a very important sidelight. But that is the purpose for which Mayor Holman and myself are here this morning, is to ask that a task force be formed between the two communities to figure out how best to promote a working coalition between the village and the city for the museum and going forward with that proposal. Thank you very much. Mayor, do you have any comments?
No, you really covered it well.
Well, that's what he's paid for, Mayor. I mean, I think you might have got your money's worth there from Underwood. Well, thank you, John. I think that's an interest to the whole valley. It really is. And I do share your concern about the racetrack. Firsthand, I know that it has become dire and that the racing industry basically is on life support in the state. And you are absolutely correct that about 30% of the income coming into the casino is what funds the racing industry. And I do know of several top-tier trainers that have already started selling off their property in Columbus and in Tularosa. Some of them in the valley that have the training centers that train here all year have put those up for sale, and others that are contemplating it and moving to Oklahoma and Texas, where the racing is carrying on. So I agree with you. So I'd like for the council, I don't think there's anyone here that doesn't, or that would dispute the importance of the Museum of the Horse. It does have an iconic look and feel to it. And I do remember the days, it wasn't that many years ago, that there were a lot of events there. And Mr. Hubbard did have a lot of those there, but there were other events there, like the Brotherhood of the Retired State Police would have their annual convention there, and others. And I know how successful we are here at our convention center when we're allowed to operate. So I think that there is some merit, but I would join with you in saying that I would like to see us be able to present or put together some sort of a task force to work with some of your people that you designated, hopefully yourself included, Mayor, that we could see just what the the likelihood of it is, and then what it would take, and so that we would go into this with our eyes wide open. Does the council pretty much concur with that? Sure. Okay, I didn't see Coughlin. He didn't look up. He's too busy Facebooking, because he is our Facebook king. But I think that we can do that. And then on the other matter of a joint resolution, I think it would be great if we did have the City of Ruidoso Downs and the Village of Ruidoso on one page concurring on that. And I would make sure that you had your name on there first, since the governor, knows I don't agree with her on a lot of things. So I don't know, does the council have any objections or questions on a resolution that we would push to try to get the casinos open? It's okay? Okay. Does anybody have any questions or anything they'd like to ask of the counselor?
As far as the resolution, Mayor, I would advise as soon as possible. I mean, if I don't know, John, if your team could draft it up by Thursday, so we could approve it on our meeting next week. So I don't know. I'm just seeing that, especially with the session fixing to start, and we send that up early.
Okay.
That's just my recommendation. Get that done as soon as possible.
What do you say, Mr. Underwood?
We'll get her done.
We can't hear you.
We'll get her done.
Okay, if you'll just let me know, and then we'll get a hold of it and we'll get it ratified as soon as possible. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, gentlemen, we appreciate your time and look forward to investigating this whole thing and seeing what we can do to keep that asset in the community for sure. So thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all very much. Have a great day and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. And don't forget, Mayor Holman, we've got the 2:30 COVID testing site online. And if you have any questions about it, I'm going to have Jeffrey Ferguson on your way out introduce himself, because he's our IT guy and he could certainly give you some pointers. Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, thanks. Yes, I met him on the way in, and I will be attending at 2:30.
All right, awesome. Okay. And for those of you that we've coordinated, our manager's done an excellent job working with the county manager, Ira Pearson, on setting up remote test sites that will commence next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, with cities of Ruidoso, Downs, Capitan, Corona, and Carrizozo. Because all of y'all, and we appreciate the ones that went and got tested on the 22nd, but you saw the immediate drop on our contact ratio to 7.5%. We did have a big spike last weekend, but after January 1st through the 3rd, we had 34 positives, had 4 yesterday, so we're expecting that. The hospital's in great shape. I talked to Overhue and Otero yesterday. Most everyone knows that Dr. Rath is the vaccination point person for the state, mainly because he has the largest freezer capacity, that low sub-zero, whatever that thing is, freezer, and that he was giving out a lot of vaccinations Monday, and that he'll have approximately 600 more doses, I understand, next week. And so we're still trying to find out how, I know you go to the DOH website and then you have a access code word or code to get in for that day. So I know we have a lot of elderly people that are calling that are really needing to get on that. So we're trying to help facilitate that as soon as possible. So anyway, hopefully all of y'all will be vaccinated soon. Okay, I don't think there's any more housekeeping business, and
Mayor, just one reminder, we do have Frank Koppler that's going to be joining us at 9:30.
9:30.
Yes.
Okay, Frank Copper will be joining us 9:30 for our closed session, I believe. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so you're telling me to giddy up?
Yeah,
Okay, so what you're saying is, Coughlin, we need to be done by 9:30. Okay, item number 1, discussion on adoption of resolution 2021-01 declaring reasonable notice of public meetings for the village council of the village of Ruidoso.
Consent.
Consent, item 3.
Is that fast enough for you?
Yep, that's perfect, buddy. Yes, sir.
I did have a question, because we do list the regular council meetings here to May of this year. What about our workshops?
They should be listed here also, because
I couldn't find it. That's where, I'm getting new glasses sometime this week, hopefully. So I read through it twice and I just, questioned.
well, it should be here because, like you, I for some reason was thinking that we were still meeting at Village Hall. I don't know, just out of habit for this meeting. And so if we can, Ron, get that added on there to make sure.
Mayor Crawford, Counselor Salas, we'll get that corrected on there and add. I believe last year didn't even list the workshop meetings, but we can make sure that we have all the meetings that are listed here at the convention center.
That's all I just noticed, because,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
But yes, consent with this.
Okay.
Local.
All right. Item number 2 is discussion on adoption of resolution 2021-02, a resolution authorizing the village of Ruidoso to submit an application to the Department of Finance and Administration Local Government Division to participate in the DWI grant program, and that's our Mr. Hanson. I don't know that we need a whole lot of discussion on that.
Just out of curiosity, is that about the same amount as last year?
I
Is that
believe it
comment?
is. Is Bill on?
You gotta unmute, Bill. Yes, sir. They have not given us an amount yet.
Okay, so so we don't have an amount on it.
Well, this says the grant application is for 170,000.
Well,
the
that's just the amount they gave us to put on the application, to put on the resolution. But at the actual amount, we're having a workshop meeting Thursday. And I'm supposed to get the rest of the forms and the amount and all the details then. But it will be, they're saying that it will be at least 170.
Okay. Any other questions? Is that what you were saying, Tim?
Mayor, I was saying as the counselors talk, they need to engage the mic. Turn on.
Oh, they need to turn on the mic?
It is.
It is on. Okay. All righty. Consent?
Consent.
Yes, that's it.
Item number 3 is discussion on approval of first renewal agreement with FBT Architects DBA Groundwork Studios, RFP 2020-005, professional services for property master development plans. And I imagine this is Rodney.
Good morning, Mayor, councilors. This is the first renewal for the master planning by FBT or Groundwork Studios. They are the company that's currently performing the Grindstone Canyon master plan. And we had some potentially other task orders on the original RFP that included Wingfield Park, river trails, walking trail plans, White Mountain Complex with the links. Again, those are just potential task orders.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Rodney?
No.
Okay.
Consent?
Consent?
Yes.
Okay. And they have been doing a good job, I know, on the Zoom meetings with the ones we've had on Grindstone. So they're very knowledgeable folks. Item number 4 is discussion on request for an extension of time to February 28th, 2021 on task order RFP number 2020-005P-01 with FBT Architects DBA Groundwork Studio to perform master. I just read that, didn't I? No? This is the agreement.
Next one.
Grindstone Canyon and Reservoir in the amount not to exceed $74,424, excluding gross receipts tax.
Mayor, councilors, this is Rodney Griego again. I believe that is actually a change order for a time extension on the Grindstone master plan. Originally, the master plan was to be scheduled to be completed by the end of December, but due to all the issues with hosting the public engagements that were part of the master plan, again, due to the delay of those, they are requesting an additional 2 months up until February 28th to have those plans completed.
But the amount isn't over and above, right?
But yes, that is correct. I'm sorry to interrupt. There are no change to the cost. It's just a time extension.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Rodney, if I'm not mistaken, they also added an extra community meeting in lieu of the travel.
Yes, that is correct. They had, they realigned their original estimate to be more in line and to meet the COVID safe practices for the public engagement. And again, there's not a change to the overall cost.
Hey, Rodney, doesn't this require a change order? I don't see one attached to this item in our packet.
You're correct, and that's, so when I requested, or when I was communicating with Groundwork Studios, the change order that they submitted was an email request. And that should have been attached to the packet. If not, I can get that taken care of prior to the meeting, as soon as possible.
Well, I'm just thinking with everything else that we see, I mean, there's timelines and things like that, but with everything else we see with change orders, there's an actual change order form. Like, we've got another item coming up later on the agenda that has a change order form attached to it.
I will get that taken care of.
Excuse me, Mayor?
Yes.
And speak. The change order was adopted in December, and the letter that's attached needs signature requesting the extension. The letter that's in there. That's what was provided for your signature.
Okay.
That's why it's not worded discussion and possible action on approval of a change order, because we didn't have one.
All right.
Mayor, so if we could just get that attached, Bertha and Rodney, and we'll get that for the regular meeting, so everything's there.
It is attached, the letter.
It is?
Yes.
Saw the letter, but as far as the change order form that Coughlin was referring to, I didn't see that.
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, Rodney and Bertha, I would still have them just supply a change order, and even though it's only for time extension only, and have that included in the packet.
Yes, I had requested a change order, but Rodney said the letter was the change order.
Okay, well, we need to get a regular actual change order that the mayor can sign, so we can get that today, so I'm sure they'll.
I agree.
Okay, let's move forward with that. Thank you.
All right, do we have any other questions?
I would suggest the regular item, Mayor, since we're gonna have a public hearing
Okay.
coming up, we can discuss more on it and the importance, or would maybe have the date by meeting time of when that public hearing would be.
Okay. Can we make that happen, Ron?
Yes, sir, we'll put it on the, Mayor, we'll put it on the regular, as a regular item.
Okay. Regular item. Let me see. Item number 5, discussion on first renewal of RFP 2020-009P professional environmental compliance, construction management and inspection services to High Watermark LLC.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. This is a first renewal agreement for High Watermark to support the 2 task orders that we currently have in place. The first task order is to support the sewer line project, PW 155, and we also issued a second task order for the bridges. They're supporting us and the environmental and reporting aspects to FEMA and stuff for both of those task orders.
Okay. Anybody have any comments on this one?
No.
I think they've been doing a great job.
Yeah, I know she's worked a lot of weekends on these Zoom, talking to people on these easements and whatnot. So, yeah, this one on consent or regular?
Consent.
Consent?
I agree, consent.
Okay, item number 6 is discussion on lease agreement between the Village of Ruidoso and Zia Therapy Center, Z-Trans, in the amount of $3,600. And I believe, Isaac, is this you? Or do we? Anthony, I'm sorry, I got Isaac on the brain this morning. Anthony?
Good morning, Mayor and members of the council. Yes, the agreement is with Zia Therapy Center, which is the Z-Trans transportation system in the Village of Ruidoso Downs. The agreement is for the rental of the office space out of the community center for 12 months, which is $300 a month, which equals to $3,600 for the entire year. They utilize the office space here for clocking in and clocking out and just doing paperwork, and also parking the buses in the parking lot of the community center. And also they utilize the center for meeting space whenever they are actually able to have meetings. Yes, and that's about it. So if y'all have any questions?
Does anybody have any questions, comments?
I would just say, can we put this on regular and possibly get a presentation as far as what's going on with them? Because we haven't heard from them for a while.
Good idea. You know, they came up because of COVID and shut down, and then they reopened, I think a day early, wasn't it, Anthony, from what they had proposed?
What I understood is that they were going to open on that Monday, and they did. I don't know about the day earlier or whatnot, but they are open again.
Okay, you're kind of muffled. I don't know if it's your speaker, if you're real close to it. Maybe if you can stand back a little. So if you could contact Joe or any one of the ladies and see if they could give us a presentation next Tuesday, just on where they're at and what's going on and just current events.
I sure will. What I'm understanding from the other transportation employees here is that the Alamogordo's transportation system, one of them caught COVID, so they're shut down. I don't know if it's going to be for a couple of weeks or when, so I will contact them and try to get that taken care of and get them to present, but I will let everyone know what is going on with that. I barely heard this yesterday.
Okay. All right, well, if you can just keep us updated, and of course, they would be able to do a Zoom just to give us, what's going on, and because I know they were shut down, and I know they got started back, and but I don't know if it was to full capacity, their route capacity or not.
Well, and then it seems like quite commonly they're advertising that they have to shut down the route from Alamogordo up to Mescalero.
Mm-hmm.
So it cuts off that transportation just for the day. So I'm assuming that has nothing to do with COVID, but that kills that transportation between the two counties.
Okay. All right.
I agree. I think we should get them to do a presentation for sure, because it has been a while since they presented, and it would be good to get an update.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you all.
Regular. Number 7 is discussion on T-hanger lease agreement between the Village of Ruidoso, Sierra Blanca Regional Airport, and Kenneth Childress for Charlie 7 T-hanger from December 1, 2020 to November 30th, 2021. And is that just standard there, Chief or Joe?
Mr. Mayor, Council, this is Joe Kashibaski out at the airport. Yes, this is just a standard T-hanger agreement. Dr. Childress has moved from one T-hanger to another, so we're redoing his contract.
Okay.
Joe, is that why it's only 1 year?
Yes.
Okay, because typically when we approve the lease agreements, it seems to be longer.
These here are just the regular T-hanger. The land leases are usually a longer land lease. The T-hanger agreements have usually been just like on a yearly basis.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Item number 8.
Consent.
Okay. Item number 8, discussion on T-hanger lease agreement between the Village of Ruidoso, Sierra Blanca Regional Airport, and Charlie Dodds for Charlie 6 T-hanger from February 1, 2021 to January 31, 2022. Good, we got that fixed. So consent on this one also, Joe, I bet?
Yes, there's just a standard agreement. He's a new client for the airport, so it is just a regular T-hanger agreement.
Okay. Okay, here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Item number 9. Discussion on change order number 2 for IFB number 2020-007B Apple Orchard H 1979-S14 and Middle Gavilan H 272-S3 well improvements with General Hydronics Utilities LLC, increasing the contract cost by $13,941, 0 cents plus gross receipts tax, and requesting an extension of time to January 18th, 2021. And I know that there's going to be a few questions on this one. So is that going to be Karen or Eric Boyda?
It's me, Mayor.
Okay.
Mayor Crawford, councilors. I just wanted to add one correction to this. The date for this is incorrect, and I'll be supplying additional materials to Ron Sena to update for the regular council meeting, but the extension of time is requesting to February 18th, 2021. And a breakdown of the change order items. So the first item is an 8-week time extension because of delays in the electrical service for Apple Orchard Well. It was actually a mistake that I did. The paperwork for getting the electrical service done with Otero County Electric or Otero Co-op wasn't submitted. It was accidentally put in some paperwork with the clerk's office to be filed with the county. And I think it was just because of all of the easement agreements that were occurring because of the FEMA project, because we needed to allow the electric co-op an easement through our property to hook up that electric service. So that's part of the time extension. And then during the substantial walkthrough, when we were visiting with the engineer and our operators, the operators and myself had a couple of concerns about how some of the site layouts turned out. And it wasn't an issue with the design. It was just some additional work that we felt would make the product more durable in the long term. And that includes adding a small concrete ramp in Middle Gavilan. Middle Gavilan is going to have disinfection equipment because that well site ties directly into our drinking water system. And the way that we're doing that is with a liquid disinfectant. And so it's going to be brought in with barrels. And we originally intended to bring the barrels up with a hand truck. And we felt the original design was okay, but the operators wanted to add this additional ramp that will make it easier to bring those barrels into that building. We also had, since we were doing some concrete work, we're requesting some sidewalls on the flush port that's down by Hole and Gavilan Tank. And that's just to help prevent the water from eroding away the hillside. And so since the water line for the Gavilan well is, it ties directly in the system, but the point of where it connects is at the tank down there. So we installed that line all the way down the road. So whenever we have a period of inoperation with that well, we're gonna have to flush that whole line. So it's gonna be kind of regularly flushed. And with that splash pad being on the hillside there, we had concerns about long-term erosion control complications. And then for the around the Middle Gavilan disinfection building and flushing pit where we'll flush water if we need to discharge water from the well. We originally intended that area to be a grassy area, but after looking at the steepness of the sides of the bank, we all felt for long-term maintenance it'd be easier and less work for us to have that be large riprap. And then to help protect the foundation some more with the ramp, the new ramp, and then with the base or the riprap, we put in some more base course along the edge of the foundation. And then since we are doing this additional work, we had intended to raise a existing manhole that's on the Gavilan well site that's by Gavilan Canyon Road. We originally intended to self-perform that, but since they're doing this additional work, I asked them to get us a price, and I felt the price that they gave was reasonable. And so I'm just requesting that they perform that for us. And then there was some additional riprap on the west side where the drainage ponds go into the bar ditch drainage system on Gavilan Canyon. Just again, the steepness of the sides, I felt like it would be a good long-term erosion protection. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions we have about this.
Okay, yes, sir, go ahead, John.
Well, I think we're stuck. We pay the change order. I think the work's been done probably.
No, it has not.
It hasn't? Okay. I'm not sure where, but it looks like there's a breakdown on engineering or design, and I would have thought you could have walked on site and figured out it was too steep, that you needed the retaining walls and stuff. So I don't know if, it's hard to budget everything when this happens all the time. So I don't know if it's with the engineers or if we need to be more involved with our guys, get their suggestions, or what. But it'd be nice to see these come through without change orders.
Councilor Cornelius, Mayor Crawford, honestly, a lot of this stuff is things that we discussed with the engineer when we were going through design. We originally proposed to have the grass flush pit, and so it was us that steered it that direction in an effort to try to save cost savings in the front end. But once we actually saw it on the ground, it made more sense to have the riprap, so I take responsibility for that.
Okay, well, some of those things are going to happen. I have more of a problem with the retaining wall stuff.
And the ramp.
Yeah, the ramp too, but, you know, it's normally cheaper to get these things done on the original contract and not change orders. That's my problem with them.
And I would agree with Councilor Cornelius. It seems like lately there's been quite a few projects that have been coming forward with change orders, which I understand a change order if you run into an unknown. I mean, that always happens during construction. But when it's a design change, it's kind of like somebody just didn't do their thinking to really think out the entire process. I don't know if the operators are involved during the design process, but maybe that's something that will help eliminate some of this, because you had mentioned the operators had a concern about the access ramp. And if they're involved in it during the design, then we can get to this. I mean, it seems like just a lot of projects are coming forward with all these change orders, and you know they're not necessarily unknowns per se. But it's just, oh, well, we'd like to do this, or we'd like to do that, or this would be better. Now, I agree with these change orders. I think these definitely will make it for a better project. But I agree, you know, that it probably could have been thought out a little bit better in the beginning and got this into the original bid. It seems like we're buying vehicles, and when it's time to take possession of the vehicles, then all of a sudden we're being told, oh, no, you've got to pay for tires too. So it's just happening too frequently, and I hope that this is the last one that comes through like this, because it's just adding up and adding up.
Who was the engineers that designed this?
So Casey Cook was the primary engineer on this with Molson Corbin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so Molson Corbin is the engineering company, and again, and that's the point that we're making, because some years back, some of these counselors have been here long enough to know every contract that we put out came back with change orders, and then it would run in this over budget. And so I would think that they would have learned by now. I know Jerry is sick of hearing us gripe about it, but that they would spend the extra time doing the substantial field inspection so that they don't have to do it. Because right now, all it is a little tongue lashing that you usually take instead of them, and then we get another one down the road. So if we could, we'll put this one on discussion, on regular item, and then I guess if you could just have Casey or whoever it is available for that meeting. I mean, I'm like Cornelius, we're gonna have to pay for it, I guess. I don't know what they'd do if we said hell no and drug our heels.
Well, he said they haven't done it yet, but it probably needs to be done.
Well, it probably does.
But I think we get better pricing if you're bidding it, trying to get the job, than, oh, we've got them now.
Yeah, well, that's where they always stick it to you. And so I know it only seems like $13,941, but that's a substantial amount of money since we used that word earlier. And just some of the things, the hill was already there and things like that. So, and I know you were trying to save money, but we pay for the job that we think needs to be done, and then that should have been their input at that point. And I think maybe the council, if we're talking about a $8,600 job or $13,000 job, that, maybe that's something that we bring back to the manager and make a decision if the council wants to take make that decision at that time during, I don't even know if that's possible, is it? That when they're doing the engineering and these kind of questions come up,
Yeah, sure, Mayor.
that instead of you having to make that decision, Mr. Boyda, that you share that burden with the rest of the council, or at least the mayor and the manager for sure, because they are getting too frequent.
And some of this, like you said, is a trade-off. On raising that manhole, you had money somewhere else. So we were gonna spend part of that, but and I understand if you want base course instead of grass, but that shouldn't be a big deal. It's the retaining walls and stuff that, if they'd walked the site, I think you'd notice that.
Well, the base course is $8,600.
But that's base course, and it's a substantial amount of riprap, and the flush pit is actually rather large, right next to the building.
And they misspelled Gavilan twice in that, on that page. So it makes me wonder, I know in some forms of business, they have errors in emissions insurance. I mean, this definitely seems like an error in emission that's not being handled during the design process. And, we hire them because they're professionals to handle that, and then there's just constantly something going on. And I think Jerry, that one time he got a real good tongue lashing, but I think it doesn't stick, and it's like, okay, fine, because we're kind of stuck. What else are we going to do?
But anyway, if you could have them available next Tuesday, we'd appreciate it. And I'll try to be specific when we can get to them so they don't have to waste any more time with this. But I definitely like to talk to Jerry and to Casey. Just let them know that A, we're sick of it, B, we're sick of it, C, we're sick of it. And I understand field adjustments, whatever, but it just seems like every contract that we have with Molson, we're having other issues that we get enough legalese and engineering talk that, it's always justified. I had a wife like that one time, and that's all I'm going to say about it. All right, we'll move on. Thank you. Now we'll take a little, 9 o'clock is when we're going to do it. Okay, if we want to.
9:30.
Mayor?
They moved it to 9.
Okay.
And so
Mayor Crawford?
yes.
I just wanted to, other items that are going to be on the agenda, if I can just go through those
Sure,
briefly.
absolutely. That one will be on regular too. What was?
So the other items that'll be on the agenda will be the consent regular items, will be the approval of the minutes from the December 8th meeting, December 22nd special meeting, and today's workshop meeting. We'll also have public input. We'll have mayoral reports presentations. We have 2 employees that are retiring. Judy Saverde from the Senior Center retired December 31st, and Doug Jones with the water billing is retiring. We have boards and commission appointments. Keep Ruidoso beautiful. We have reports from the village manager from all the departments. And we have 3 public hearings that were postponed from the December 8th meeting. We have ordinance 2020-10, An ordinance amending the Village of Ruidoso Municipal Court of Ordinances, that's the Chapter 42, that's fire protection, prevention and protection. And then we have ordinance 2020-11 and an ordinance amending the Village of Ruidoso Code of Ordinances, Chapter 86, utilities. That's with water section of drilling of domestic wells. And finally, we have ordinance 2020-12, an ordinance amending the Village of Ruidoso Code of Ordinance, Chapter 54, land use. So those will be the other. And one more item that we're going to have also is Fire Chief Thetford will be applying for some funding, possibly to purchase a new fire truck. So we're going to have that application added to the regular meeting also.
Mayor, is there any specific reports that you all would like to hear?
Just one, maybe in closed session, we can discuss that, just on the legal matters and getting us, making sure we're up to date on all those things that may be coming in the window or the door or whatnot. Is anything anybody else can think of?
I got a notification yesterday that one of our board members from the library,
Resigned?
yes.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah, it'll be on there too. I mean, he
Oh.
resigned and we were gonna maybe find out why. I didn't get an explanation or reason or anything just yet.
Mayor, I know that the court should be briefing us every other month, and we haven't heard from them for quite some time. You know, we've been in contact with them, but I think they need to come before the council.
I would agree, because I thought we were getting pretty close on the design on that anyway. But, you know, with the guy changing the architects and
we haven't had an update in the last month or so from the administrative office of the courts. He had been out sick. So, you know, we've been in contact with the higher ups, so we can make sure that we get them on run.
Okay.
Is there do you want to update on projects, or is there anything else that you need to update on? I know that I'm going to be requesting another workshop meeting a couple of days for the strategic planning. And, you know, I was wanting to do that in the middle of the month, but with just some of the that we've had with directors, I'd like to move that back to the last week of January, if the council's okay with that.
yeah, I don't have any issue with that. Does anybody else?
Nope.
Okay.
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, one other item will be the recognition of the employees of the quarter also, ending December 31st, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then, do we have any new employees?
I'm sorry, Mayor, just on that one, can we talk about a date for that workshop, for the
Sure, absolutely.
strategic planning?
You got 3 minutes.
I would recommend, Mayor, sometime either in the middle of the week or the latter part of the week, but it's up to you all, whatever works best for you all.
Like the 27th of January, is that what you're looking at? Because the 28th is pretty full on my schedule. But I mean, because it'll be an all-day deal.
Last year, we ended up scheduling 2 days, and then because of a couple of illnesses, we ended up scheduling a third day, if you all recall.
Well, it kept dragging on. I think it was originally scheduled for like 1 day.
I think it was 2, and then it went to 3.
yeah, it was two.
Oh, I remembered it.
Well, we had different people coming in different days. I thought we
Right.
were mostly there for 2, but it's whatever you guys want to do. I mean,
The 26th and 7th?
26th and 27th, we just have a little easement update at 10 a.m. But is everybody good with Tuesday and Wednesday?
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, the 26th, we will potentially have a special meeting for the financials for the ending of the second quarter for finance. So, I mean, we can incorporate that afterwards or something.
We can put it in there somewhere.
Yeah, that'll work perfect.
If we're all together and we
Right.
just go ahead and list the meeting publicly, we could just have it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mr. Mayor, always on the last Tuesday of the month, I have a Zoom meeting, a board meeting from 7 to 10. I mean, I can come in after that.
Okay, what time you talking about? 8 to?
It's up to you all, Mayor, whatever you all prefer.
Are we going to do it like we did last year with everybody presenting?
We're basically, my plan is to go over everybody's, plans and give you an update as to where they're at. and then come up with new objectives.
And we can move it along because unlike last year, they're used to giving project updates and the department heads are used to, reviewing employees. And so I think they're a little more up to date on things. So if we just know that we need to keep a pace going through there, and I hate that Gary's going to miss any of it. Are there any particular directors you don't want to hear from that we'll schedule during that?
Well, the first part will be the financials anyway.
Yeah. That'd be all right with you, Gary, that we'll do the financials and stuff at 8 o'clock? What do you plan on doing, to 4? And we'll have a lunch in there and try to hit as many as we can and schedule them real tight.
I think we'll be able to move through it a lot faster this year.
Yeah, because they're used to, they've got the information there.
Mayor, I would propose we start at 9 and start with financials.
Okay.
And then, that gives us some time to work through it. Also at that time, we have a plan that we're working on for the policy committees that we've talked about as well, to review the personnel policy and the pay policies as well.
Okay.
So that will kick off that process.
Okay.
But,
And then, rather than just us willy-nilly picking lunch or doing whatever, if you guys have any suggestions, we'll be happy to put those in a hat and then throw them in the trash and go ahead and order pizza anyway. If you guys have somewhere that you want to order food for, just let us know.
Applebee's.
So going back to the financials, is that the special meeting that you're referring to, is financials at?
Yes.
Yes, for the,
At 9 o'clock would be, okay.
So I maybe if we give the directors or each department a time window that they need to stick with, that might help move it along, because some of them tend to get a little long-winded. And then we tend to drag things down,
Yeah.
asking a lot of questions, and that wasn't me.
Yeah.
no.
But
And Mayor, that's how we handled it last year, and then you all said, let's give them the extra time you guys enjoyed so much.
Yeah, I remember because we were getting a lot of information and we really felt for the streets department and some of those others. And so we'll keep it high and tight this year.
But we also don't want to, we also want to listen to what they're having to say and not, okay, goodbye.
Well, I just want them to know that this is their time and that these are professionals that can prioritize.
Yeah.
So hammer what they want, and then if we need extra time, we can certainly go. I'll let them do it, so no problem.
Yeah, because a lot of them were the same thing back, well, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. It's like, okay, fine.
Okay.
A big area we're going to be talking about is the Buxton and how we're going to roll that out as well.
Okay.
The economic development revitalization.
Buxton Group?
Yes.
It's the one on all the data and information and stuff that's coming in. Okay, is that enough of that? It's 9:02, so I guess we need to go into closed session. So if I could get a motion to move into closed session.
Mr. Mayor, move that we go into closed session for discussion, subject to the attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which the Village of Ruidoso is or may become a participant, State Statute 1015-1H7, Mexico Statutory Authority 1978.
Second.
Yeah, we have a motion, second roll call, please. Mr. Santa?
thank you, Mayor. Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Cornelius?
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Lutterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye. All right, thank you, and I do miss Irma, but